College coaches don't recruit catchers the way that most athletes or their parents think that they do. There is an entire checklist of traits that are being looked at, and the sooner that you understand what they are, the sooner that you can begin working on them. Most high school catchers will get passed over by recruiters because they are underdeveloped and cannot handle the demands of college baseball. Most catchers or their parents think that they are not getting interest because their metrics aren't good enough. And it makes sense because social media favors impressive metrics. Kids live and die by their PBR rankings and stats. But it is often not discussed what a college coach actually looks for in a catcher before they even begin to consider metrics. Your PBR and high school metrics won't come to your rescue if you can't actually compete at that next level. College coaches know this. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 standards that you need to adopt if you want to catch at the college level. My name is Nick Zoris. I caught at the Division I level. I've worked with over 300 catchers directly online, and we have a track record of helping catchers reach their goal of playing college baseball. Through working with this many catchers and analyzing the ones that went on to play at the next level versus the ones who did not, the catchers that ultimately played college baseball had these same 3 standards for themselves. The first standard that a high school catcher needs to adopt if they want to catch at the college level is undeniable defense. You can boil this down to a simple question. Does this catcher help us win more or less baseball games compared to his competition? This is the ability to not only catch every single ball that is thrown at you, but the ability to win strikes for your pitcher consistently. A catcher must show a high degree of fluency with their receiving, adaptability to different pitchers, situations, stances, without sacrificing the ability to get the job done. College coaches also need to see a catcher that has the ability to keep the ball in front of them. So this means not only a high degree of fluency in blocking from different stances, pitchers, and situations of the game, but also complete ownership of the baseball once it leaves our pitcher's hand. When you get to the college level, there's no room for finger pointing or rejecting responsibility. It doesn't matter if the pitcher missed his spot, bounced one that he shouldn't have. As a catcher, you need to be able to handle all situations and take full responsibility for that baseball. And if you can't do that, you will be replaced by somebody that can. As a high school catcher, you should be catching as many bullpens as you can for as many different types of pitchers that you can in as many different unique situations that you can. And you should take all of these bullpens extremely seriously and have things that you are working on both with your receiving and with your blocking. The biggest separator between just an okay defensive catcher versus one who is outstanding usually comes down to just the sheer amount of reps that that athlete has gotten and the feedback loop that they've put themselves through in each of these situations. You should have a consistent plan that you execute on, and you should have a similar cadence each week with your training that changes depending on the part of the year that you're in. If you don't carry this level of organization and precision to your training, the gap between you and your competition is going to continue to get exposed. The second standard that high school catchers need to adopt if they want to catch at the college level is physicality. Physicality is essentially that catcher's makeup, or better understood as how big, fast, strong, and durable that athlete is. Without the physicality piece of the puzzle, there is no judgment of metrics. Because if you don't look the part, you'll never even get considered. And looking the part essentially means that you look like the catcher that can handle a college workload. That means a full season in the spring, going into a hard off season, into spring ball, and then getting shipped out to play summer ball. All the while continuing to lift, eat healthy, prioritize recovery and sleep, and also balancing your schoolwork. College athletes are elite. And if you don't fit the bill for a kid that is on track to be that guy, you need to adjust your life in a way that will get you there. The biggest piece of advice that I could give to a high school catcher that wants to develop this physicality piece is lift specific to your sport for sure. If you can find a way to lift specific to your position, that's even better. So you need to ditch the bodybuilder splits where you're going upper body, lower body, and rotating between muscle groups. And you need to incorporate compound movements like squats, lunges, explosive rotational work, isometric work, to properly train all of the demands that come with being a catcher. The second piece of advice would be to dial in your diet. You simply cannot out-train a poor diet. Do some basic research on the nutritional demands of being an athlete. Understand basic micronutrients like carbs, fats, and proteins, and understand how to build your plate in a way that suits your goals. If you can systemize your diet a bit more, you'll make bigger gains with your training, which will lead to bigger gains on the field, which will lead to more attention and exposure to ultimately get to your goal of playing college baseball. But it starts with simple decisions that you make every single day. And the third piece of advice would be to train year round. You cannot simply just train in the off season. When you get to the college level, these guys are training year round. And training doesn't mean simply just lifting weights. That also means training your defensive abilities like receiving and blocking, also optimizing your recovery, and truly taking the time to understand what your body needs in each different part of the year. At the college level, the work doesn't ever stop, but the focuses and demands do shift all year. It's very common for a college program in the off season to put down the bats and balls for a couple of weeks and focus really hard in the weight room. At some point, they begin to taper back up for the season and taper down the weight training. But just because the focus shifts does not mean that they neglect any parts of their development, and they find ways to balance everything throughout the course of the entire year. The third standard that high school catchers need to adopt if they want to play college baseball are clear priorities. There shouldn't be any guesswork required to understand where your priorities lie as an aspiring athlete. A prospective coach should be able to look at your entire life from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to bed and be able to leave with no doubt in their mind that you want the things that you say you want. A college coach does not have the time to hold your hand, motivate you, or discipline you. All of that is going to need to come from you. And if you don't have that motivation, or you need your hand held, you simply get cut from the team and replaced by somebody else who they're going to give a shot to. And maybe this is because nobody has really showed you how to prioritize or set proper goals for yourself. A simple exercise that you can do at home is take out a pen and paper and start writing down where you see yourself in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. If that plan includes college baseball, now we can understand what that guy actually looks like that achieves that goal. And we can start to work backwards to understand, what do we need to do between now and then? What do we need to do on a yearly basis? What do we need to do this month, this week, or today? At that point, you can really start to audit your days and ask yourself the hard questions like, are you aligned with your goals? And if you're not, starting to make changes and improving every single day is the only way to get there. Of all of the catchers that I've worked with that went on to play college baseball, the guys that made it to that level were absolutely relentless in their pursuit. Ultimately, they were going to make it happen with or without me. And I absolutely love training a catcher like that. I never have to worry about if he's doing the work that I need him to, if he's applying the level of focus that I need him to, so that I can help him get to his goals. When all of these things align, now we can really start making progress, and the catcher begins to learn and grow much faster. And maybe you're a guy that says he wants one thing but lives in a different way and doesn't back up the claims or goals that he has set out for himself. If you're that guy, you really need to ask yourself why that is. Are you maybe reciting somebody else's dream? Or maybe it really is your dream, but you keep avoiding the meaningful tasks that are actually going to move the needle. And hey, maybe it's a result of your environment. It really could be a million things, but if you can really just take ownership and control of the situation that you're in and begin to work with what you've got, you will be blessed with more as soon as you can prove the ability to steward what you already have. Now, you may have watched this entire video and thought, but I'm still not getting the attention that I want from college coaches. Take a step back and realize that there has to be something deeper. Take time to analyze yourself through the eyes of a college coach and identify the areas where you may be falling short in terms of your development or the actual recruiting process itself. The outcome of your career is ultimately yours to decide. Don't let anybody outside of you and God determine how far you actually make it as a catcher. If you truly want something bad enough and your intentions are pure and you're willing to do the work every single day, The only way that you can fail is if you quit. And if you're the parent of a high school catcher and you want some more information on how I help train my catchers into college-ready catchers, there's gonna be a link in the description of this video. We're still working on that page, so if you don't see it yet, it's coming soon. If you're watching this video farther in the future, it might be there. And if you're not there yet, you can watch this video where I break down why most catchers won't get recruited.